Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome back to the D and Z podcast. I'm Z, he's D. Today we're gonna be reviewing Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump follows the story of Forrest Gump as he really lives through like all the greatest events in American history, kinda like within his time frame at least. And you see like how he lives his life and his very odd story, let's say that. So I think with a little summary out of the way, I think we can go right into the camera and directing choices.
Okay, so with Forrest Gump, there were some camera angles, some directing choices that were memorable, but as a whole, I didn't find much outstanding film work. I think it was pretty like average, especially with like the '90s era. There's only like two special, but there's two sequences that I'll always remember. One was the Vietnam sequence, which is like the one take Vietnam.
Him like running back and forth.
Yeah, and also the ambush scene. That was very well done. I actually read in the YouTube comment section once that the Vietnam War scene, when like Vietnam War vets would like view those kind of war movies from Vietnam, they said that the Forrest Gump ambush scene was the most accurate to what fighting in Vietnam was like. So props to the filmmakers for an accurate portrayal and also a well done one shot take as well.
What I would like to add, I think it was a pretty genius idea to use real life footage from history and kind of add the movie character Forrest Gump into it, you know, making it part of the story.
Yeah,
it was insane. And yeah.
What was I don't remember the exact year, I believe it was like 96 or something. Like during this time, that was unheard of technology. Like
for sure.
Splicing a character into these like already existing scenes as well as they did it, it's like unheard of. So at the time it's like wow, this is real, this movie's really innovative. Yeah, it's really innovative. And I think the director, he does a lot of really good choices through the lighting, the way that the film's shot. You can say it's like a standard film, which I understand, but I think that it's done well, and I think that's all the film really needs to achieve. I don't think it needs to have like this outstanding camera work, because what does it mean? What does it need, this outstanding camera work where everything means something?
Yeah, the movie
it's just it's like a simple story. Everything's told to you. But I understand that point. And yeah, I think the directing it was just overall very good. And now we're gonna cut right into our next topic, the acting review. So I'll start, and then we'll go the other way this time. I'll start off by saying the acting was overall pretty good by like I think every party involved just did an amazing job. Like Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump, this was a performance that I don't think we've ever seen, and I don't think we'll see many performances again, as Tom Hanks was playing a mentally slow man. And the way that he was able to keep like such a like positive persona in his acting, and like always be like this positive guy no matter what happens to him. It was a I wouldn't say it was a tough acting job, but it's an impressive one.
He was a very simple man that was, I guess you could say, living in the moment, and
and even some of the other actors, like they really help bring their characters to life. Like the actress who plays Jenny, like you see this is a flawed character, and you like share through her acting, her like facial expressions, and like the way she delivers her lines. You can tell this is a very broken character. And even characters like Lieutenant Dan, I really liked his portrayal, as he was a very broken man. He was, he felt like he should have died, and he feels like he lost it all now, and he's just kind of living this life he didn't want.
Aimlessly.
Exactly.
That no purpose in life. But then you see that, especially that one sequence in the boat where they're fishing, and he looks into the sunset and he says, "I never said thank you for saving me." You can just tell like the emotion in his eyes is very real, very real, the realistic acting. I personally am a huge fan of almost all the performances in Forrest Gump, and like the standouts, like Zosman said, Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump is an iconic role, one of his best performances ever. Definitely one of his most iconic. Then you have Jenny, of course, and then Lieutenant Dan. And always even those small characters that are so memorable, like the drill sergeant, right? And it's always so just iconic, this film, in so many ways, and then a big part of that was the acting.
Even Gubba or
Bubba.
yeah, Bubba was also a big character that was able to support Tom Hanks as he was like-minded in a sense. He was also kind of mentally slow.
Yeah.
And because of that, they were able to become best friends as well.
All right, so we're just gonna go on to our next topic. I just had it pulled up because we were gonna do something a little extra at the end. We're gonna go right into atmosphere now, and I think atmosphere of the film is incredible. It's like the movies mostly takes place in Alabama, which is a very nice. It's a very nice state. Is it a state? I'm not sure about my American geography. Yeah, it's a nice state. Like, it's a very beautiful state, and it helps show that. Like, you see like these beautiful fields. They're like beautiful football fields. Like, they're beautiful nature. Like, it's a very bright film, and everything's so like bright, and it helps add this like happy atmosphere to when even the events look bad. The film looks beautiful.
Yeah, but it also showed like the atmosphere in Vietnam as well very well, especially like when it started raining and for months and then it stopped. And yeah, it showed the emotion of the war in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they really captured the essence of what Vietnam was like. They also captured just like the feel of the movie. I think Ms. Fretzel said this before. Like the feel of the movie and how it goes through each decade is very. Sorry. All right, sorry about that, guys. So back to the essence. So I just thought like Ms. Fretzel said it well. Because Forrest Gump passes along through the decades, I feel like he captured the essence of what those decades were like perfectly. You would see like the drug-fueled craziness of the late 70s to the 80s. You saw what Vietnam was like. Then you saw the hippie movement as well. It's very well done. You can really capture the atmosphere of what America was like in that time period as well.
All right, so we're gonna go into our very last topic, the social outcry, which I think can definitely be mentioned. Maybe not as much for Canada, like at all, but I think for the American side, I think there's a lot going on in this movie. And I think it's seen, like you see these events, you see the worst of American history through Forrest's eyes. You see, Vietnam War, you see how America relies on war and how they always turn back to it. And you see like other things, like you see it's like a throwaway line. Richard Nixon puts him into a hotel, and then Forrest Gump witnessed the Watergate break-ins, which is like a huge piece of American history, like a bad piece of American history. And it's like the film shows it, like Forrest sees all of it. He was there for all of it. And he also helped like negotiate relationships between communist China and the U.S. by playing ping pong with them. It's like all these events in American history. It like shows the issue and like how a simple man just helped solve all of it instead of overcomplicating it.
I don't even think Forrest Gump realized that he.
Yeah, I don't even think he realized half the stuff he did.
Yeah. Also, in the movie, they don't really recognize Forrest Gump's circumstances. How he's like slow-minded.
Right.
Yeah.
They just want to put him into a different school and live his life out as a simple man.
Right.
Whereas his mother, basically, who's kind of like his Bible in a sense, was encouraging him to do more. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, he did.
Yeah.
He did
so there you
everything.
One thing I also thought that was a common message in the film was how mankind again always turns to violence.
Mm-hmm.
It was not just showed that in Vietnam, but you could also see that in the many assassinations that Forrest witnessed.
Yeah.
Right? Either you saw it in person or on TV. It was repeating it over and over and time again. And you just take a moment to realize like this is just such it's like normal for him, right? But that's just how humans are. We always resort to violence to solve our problems. So I just thought that was a common message that was portrayed well in the film as well. All right. Before we wrap up our podcast, I wanted to ask you, because this film is such an iconic movie, What was your favorite moment in the film that you always remember?
I had a little question too, but we'll do yours first. I think my favorite moment was probably when I think the whole part where it kind of like shows his early life. So he starts off as like he gets onto the Alabama football program, he becomes a star, he goes to college for it. And then he goes to college, like he all this stuff, and then he joins the army. Like that whole little progression is kind of my favorite part. That's what really sticks to me, I think.
My favorite part has to be the when in Vietnam, when they got ambushed and they were retreating, how Forrest ran. Like he ran as he was instructed, but after a while he realized that running sometimes is not good and you could end up alone. And so he realized this and ran back to save everyone. Well, most everyone who was still alive in his platoon, and it shows loyalty and friendship, and it shows that even though Forrest is a slow-minded man, he is still a human being.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of the film was actually the ending, when Forrest is reading his letter to Jenny.
Oh yeah.
From his son. And he has a little moment talking to Jenny's grave. The acting that he does in there always just seems to stick with me. It's such a beautiful moment in the film. And it really shows you the love he had for Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really timeless piece of acting that I thought is just really well done by Tom Hanks.
And there's also the symbolism, right, of how the birds flew up.
Away, so Jenny was finally at peace with herself and she could go to heaven. So just an amazing sequence. I love that film, that moment in the film.
Yeah,
My question is, I wanted to hear your guys' opinion about this. So at the year it came out, at the Academy Awards, Forrest Gump like swept. It took like almost every award possible. And a very controversial thing that gets argued a lot is it won Best Picture over The Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Four Weddings and Funeral, and Quiz Show. Do you think it was justified, or would you argue one of the other films deserved it?
I mean, it was really revolutionary again, like how it cut in from pieces of history into the acting. I think that was like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was indeed revolutionary, and I think it's just a movie that, well, it describes America in a sense, right? Like the whole movie it's not about being historically accurate, it's about
The American history.
Yeah, about the American history, the American dream, and and we see how as he got older and he got a child, that child is not slow-minded. But he still has his father's charm and everything, which shows how, as time goes, hopefully America will also evolve and become better each generation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with me, that's a really tough question. It's a good question. I view Best Picture as like the best film, and out of those options, I don't see Forrest Gump being the best film out of those options.
That's understandable.
I actually think, like, if you think about it, I view Shawshank Redemption as like a flawless film.
I get that.
It's flawless. Like I look back at the movie, it's just such a perfect movie. And Forrest Gump has its flaws. For example, its pacing sometimes can be a little bit off, especially at the end. It feels like it was a little bit rushed or like even slow. Exactly. The first half is really strong. The second half it dies down a little bit. I don't know. I just think that Forrest Gump has its flaws, although it's a very, very well done film. It has its flaws. Shawshank Redemption is perfect, and I would choose Shawshank Redemption over Pulp Fiction as well. So I would give that to Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, that's perfectly understandable.
What do you think?
I do think with the award, it looks at the entertainment that every audience can get from the film. And I do not believe younger audiences got entertainment from a film like Pulp Fiction. It was not made for younger audiences. The subject matter in the film was for adults. So I don't think it's unreasonable that that film lost. I think really when you put it up against The Shawshank Redemption, it's really tough. It really is. I think my demographic, kind of what I look for, I suppose. I guess it would be how every single audience can like the film, no matter of age. And I just think Forrest Gump does it a little better because I feel like if you're a younger kid, you might not like The Shawshank Redemption as much because of the subject matter and also like
They
the
may not
length.
understand it.
The length of the film
Yeah.
could also be detrimental to some kids. So I think it could be a toss up in my opinion, but I would almost give the edge to Forrest Gump.
That's good.
So are you saying that like Forrest Gump is suitable for all ages?
Yeah.
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 Okay. All right. With that being said, let's wrap it up. What would you guys rate the film?
I would give Forrest Gump a strong 4.5. I think this is a film, there's a reason we watch this film in History Through Film. This is one of the movies that define the genre. It's going to be talked about for years and it's not going to go away anytime soon.
Yep.
I would give it a 4.8 because it was really, really good. But again, like, I don't think it was a perfect film.
I say 4.5 is us, man. It's just such a good film.
I think,
Such a good
yeah,
film.
the ending just kind of takes it.
Takes a little bit.
It kind of
Yeah,
ruins the
rushes
vibe,
it.
but it's still a pretty good overall final score.
For 100%. Well, all right. With that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.